Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, July 15th. Impact maps, no significant impacts for today, but we do have increasing wind threats starting Monday across the Sierra Front and across parts of southern and central Nevada and Utah. Winds gusting 35-40 miles per hour with single-digit humidity. That threat expands on Tuesday as a stronger front moves towards the region. Also strong winds up in parts of the Snake River Plain. Humidity a bit higher up there and fuels just a little bit more moist, but still the potential for some fire. We'll have to monitor that very carefully. Very poor humidity recovery in parts of our southern areas and central areas next couple of days, only recovering to less than 25% at night. So something to keep in mind. Precipitation in the last 24 hours. Well, let's start with lightning on the right-hand side. Again, another day of lightning across our eastern areas. Moving on out, you can see some of the precipitation on the left-hand side. Generally, amounts were about a tenth of an inch or less in most areas, except in some localized heavier cells, but those are few and far between. And with that lightning, new fires in the red have popped up in areas of central and eastern Utah, but also popping up in parts of Idaho as well. So our activity shifting towards southern Idaho, at least below 5,000 feet. Just about the biggest portion of the Great Basin we've had in fire activity so far this season. Recent fires in the yellow open circles indicate large fire incidents, so we do have that ongoing. Now, over the last 7 days, we did have significant precipitation in areas in the green, a ½ inch to locally an inch, where you see the yellow. That did take the edge off of fuels for a little bit, but that was about 7 days ago. We've been in a rapid drying trend. You can see percent of normals on the right-hand side. You can see the ERCs still critically dry. We see the areas in red as well as orange. ERCs are climbing and starting to change up in parts of Idaho. But 10-hour fuels are carrying some of the fires in southern Idaho and a good chunk of the lower elevations of the Great Basin. You can see where they are 3 to 4% in the red, 1 to 2% in the dark red, and even in parts of southern Idaho, still 5 to 6% 10-hour fuel moistures, and some southern and western aspects can carry fire and possibly cause large fires. We do have a concern with this upper level low that's dropping on down off the Pacific Northwest. The tight packing of these height lines through here will start producing some significant winds over the next couple days, but otherwise large high pressure building in through here. This is the start of the Four Corners high, and as it continues later in the month, should start developing a monsoon for our southern areas. But right now, it's bringing hot, dry conditions. Later today, you can see the upper level map on the right hand side. That dryness and the tannish shades under that high pressure ridge will be above normal. See the wind gradient tightening up here a little bit with these yellow height lines closer together. No high risk yet. Our PSAs continue to dry out. Look at the humidities down there. Single digit all the way down to just below the Idaho border, and even up in Idaho in the teens. On the left-hand side, winds, not critically windy, but across a good portion of northern Nevada. The winds in the green are indicating about 10 to 20 miles per hour, maybe some locally higher gusts late in the day off the Sierra Front. Breezy conditions, but not critically windy further east. Now for tomorrow, that trough sharpens up. You can see more height lines packing through here, so the wind threat increases. You see the high risk on the right-hand side for parts of the Sierra Front, western Nevada, and also increasing along the Nevada-Utah border as well. We see those winds picking up through here in the orange shades. Probably seeing gusts in the mid-30s. You can see how dry the humidity is, mid-single digits in many of those areas, and even further north, much drier than it has been. That wind threat expands in aerial coverage on Tuesday. Good portion of the Arizona Strip, a good portion of Utah and eastern and southern Nevada, as well as parts of northern Arizona as that trough sharpens up. And you can see those winds here on the left-hand side in the purple shades, gusts over 40, maybe even 45 miles per hour. Orange shades about 30 to 35. And even up here in the Snake River Plain, also winds of maybe 35 or so. Their humidity there will be a bit higher in the upper teens, still single-digit humidity further south. No significant precipitation expected, and going further down the road, we can see that We still have tight packing of the height lines through here, so we still have a wind threat. We're keeping it for our southern areas now, and this could change. No high risk for Thursday. We'll have to watch this trough again. If it sharpens up, we may see some wind issues. Friday, high pressure builds in. There is some moisture starting to move up through here. Notice how much of our PSAs have dried out to critically dry areas. And on Saturday, that moisture does rotate back into southern Nevada and parts of Utah. We'll have to watch for the possibility of lightning. This is a new model development. So we'll see if that continues. But lightning after some very hot and dry days would be a very critical issue. Otherwise, our PSAs are dry, no precipitation for the next 7 days. You can see this first start of the monsoons down in Mexico starting to develop, but still not really even getting into Arizona. And our extended forecast continues to show drier than normal conditions here on the right-hand side and near to a little bit above normal temperature, especially for our southern and eastern areas, cooler than normal across the far north. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.